this may happen when we see someone who has in the past been a drug abuser, had an addiction, who then couldn't afford the drugs anymore. And so then someone was a predator basically, and then gave them more drugs and said, okay, now you're going to have to work off this debt. But often the debt never really goes away. They keep them addicted to continue to coerce them into having commercial sex. And that's essentially commonly known as forced prostitution. So I wanted to just say then that the prostitution, that word in general, is often implying something voluntary, because there may be commercial sex without force, fraud, or commercial or coercion with adults, whether it's lawful or unlawful in the country or in the state that the person is in. The other way that we might see it is that someone has no contact with drugs ever before, or never had a problem with drugs, and then they're essentially forced with the use of drugs or coerced with use of drugs to then have sex. So now something of value, whether they wanted it or not, is given to them, right? These drugs, and then they're essentially made incapacitated or unable to then stop what's going to happen next, which will be often paid sex or sex without pay. So it doesn't matter whether the person came with a goal of having drugs and then got pulled into this coercive thing later, or if the person never planned on doing drugs or wasn't an addict and then ended up in this situation. Either way, we're most likely looking at commercial sex trafficking and a T visa. Marrying a U.S. citizen with the intention of evading the immigration system may have a lifetime bar for certain types of immigration applications, but that type of fraud can be waived in the T visa context. When we're seeing them in 2024 or later, it's usually because the case didn't work out and there was some type of victimization that took place. And so now we're going to file for a T visa. We're going to talk about all the other things that have happened to you since the time those scams took place, and document your victimization and the stress and fear that you went through. And folks, this is stuff that may have happened 24 years ago, but people are still suffering from what happened that long ago.